review of the Korean War, and then the following, which occurred basically 5 years after the end of World War II. And the stage was set at the conclusion of World War II, where it was inevitable that you were going to have conflicts between primarily the Soviet bloc, the communists, versus democratic societies and aristocracies, if you will. Japan had control over the Korean Peninsula since 1910. Japan fought a war with China. I think it was 1894, the Sino-Japanese War. They defeated China. Japan fought a war with Russia in, I think it's 1904. It's called I think the Japanese-Russian War, or the Russo-Japanese War. But from that, they acquired Korea, and since 1910, and they had ruled over the Korean Peninsula, and using Korea to supply materials to Japan, because Japan is a set of islands and their resources are limited. So they needed to control other parts of the mainland of Asia for raw materials to sustain their society and to upgrade their military. And at the same time, when North Korea attacked South Korea, MacArthur was in Japan trying to rebuild their country. It's in 1950, only 5 years after World War II ended. So the National Chinese had been defeated in the Chinese Civil War. By and large, they were pouring in material and supplies to try to rebuild Europe after World War II. At Incheon, and cut off these North Korean forces that were down here and starve them out and capture them. The Joint Chiefs of Staff and the U.S. military thought that was a very risky operation. Very risky. And he had a hard time trying to convince them it was a bold operation. And he had a hard time convincing me that if it hadn't been MacArthur, I don't believe the Joint Chiefs would ever went along with the President Truman at that time. And remember, Truman and MacArthur, there was a not only a personality but a power conflict, because MacArthur was a hero of the Pacific War, and he was in control of Japan and trying to build it up. In the meantime, Truman, of course, he became president on Roosevelt's death, and so he thought he was trying to usurp his power. Truman was the supreme leader of the free world, and he didn't want this person out here going off on his own.